soft, yellow, metallic element. Because it is relatively scarce, it is known as a precious metal. Gold has many uses. Because it is precious, it has been used as a standard of value since ancient times. While we may not use gold coins as money today, gold is still the basis for much of our wealth, and its mining and distribution are regulated closely by the government. Gold is used for jewelry. To make it harder, it is usually combined with another metal into an alloy. Gold leaf, which is pure gold rolled into very thin sheets, is used for printing. Dentists often use gold for filling teeth and for dental braces. There are other uses for gold, too. Watch for them and see how many uses you can find. Where does gold come from? It is deposited from gases and liquids which rise from beneath the surface of the earth. It is found in many countries of the world. It is found in many of us, too, but is an important resource in only these 5 western states: California, South Dakota, Utah, Colorado, and Nevada. The first great migration of people came to California because of the discovery of gold in 1848. Gold was one of the main reasons for California's becoming a state when it did. There are basically 2 kinds of gold. Lode gold is found in lode or vein deposits, usually in quartz rock, in the earth's surface or crust. Placer gold is found in the sand and gravel of streams. It is made up of grains of gold, as well as large particles called nuggets. Placer gold has usually been washed and carried away from lodes or veins by surface water. It is most often found along river or stream beds. In the early days, most of the gold was placer gold, found by men who traveled with their burros and their gold pans. They used the gold pans to separate gold from gravel, but it was hard work and often difficult to pan enough gold to make a living. Men soon found that they could get more gold by other methods. One of these methods was with water under pressure. This is called hydraulic mining. One man can work by himself, but usually a number of men work together in a group, often organized into a company. Hydraulic mining was used in the early days and is still used today. In hydraulic mining, water is taken from streams through ditches or pipes to a storage pond. Large storage ponds supply a continuous source of water. When needed, the water is carried downhill through pipes to build up its pressure, which forces the water out of a funnel-shaped pipe called a giant. By using the giant, one man can control the direction of this high-pressure water. The box of rocks is used as a counterbalance so the giant can be easily moved. The control lever the man uses is called a monitor. This high-pressure water breaks up the placer gravel, which contains gold. The loosened gravel collects behind the dam and then flows through a sluice. If we could look underneath the water, we would see small slats called riffles, which collect the fine dirt that contains the gold, but allow the larger gravel to flow through. The gold sticks to mercury, often called quicksilver, placed in the bottom of the sluice. Most of the time, the sluice runs full of water. The gravel coming out of the sluice must be moved so it won't block the flow of water. It is piled at one side by another giant called a stacker. After the hydraulic mine operates for some time, it is necessary to close it down in order to clean out the sluice and collect the gold and mercury. These heavy iron rails, used to protect the sluice from damage by large boulders, must be removed and cleaned. The remaining rocks and gravel are removed with this special sluice fork. Here in the bottom of the sluice is fine gravel and the mercury to which the gold sticks. The gravel is stirred so that it washes away, while the heavy gold and mercury mixture, called amalgam, settles to the bottom. Later, the amalgam will be separated so that the mercury can be used over again, and the gold can be refined and sold. Another method developed to mine gold in placer areas is called dredging. This is often restricted by the government. Before dredging, tests are made by drilling down into the ground to bring up samples of dirt, rock, and clay. Water is added to this material so that it can be separated from the gold. The gold is panned out. Several washings carry away the lighter material, leaving only the heavier gold. If enough gold is found, the dredging method can be used. A pond, sometimes formed by building a small dam across a stream, is usually where work is started. Here is built the dredge, which floats like a boat. The land is cleared to make room to work. A man in a control tower is able to operate the dredge by means of these levers. He can raise and lower this boom, or move it from side to side. The boom carries an endless chain of buckets made of hard steel, which dig earth from the bottom of the river or stream and bring it up into the dredge. All of these buckets full of earth and gravel also contain a certain amount of gold. The bucket line dumps the material into a revolving drum, which uses screens to sort out the larger rocks. These are carried off the dredge by an endless belt that piles them along the shore. These piles of waste material are called tailings. Other drums, with finer screens, continue to separate the material while the gold is collected by mercury between the small slats called riffles. After the gold is removed, the sand and mud are washed out behind the dredge to help fill up the hole that has been dug. The weight of the amalgam collected from the riffles is taken, and then it is poured into this pot, where it will be heated to separate the gold from the mercury. The heat vaporizes the mercury, which leaves the pot through these coils, where it is cooled, causing it to condense into its liquid form so that it may be used over again. After the pot is opened, the men must stay away from the mercury fumes because they are dangerous. The gold is weighed again, and a chemical added to help separate the gold from the slag, or impure materials. This is done by heating. After the gold has been heated long enough, at a very high temperature, it is poured into a mold coated with soot. The soot keeps the gold from sticking to the mold. The gold quickly cools, the slag coming to the outside, where it is knocked off with a hammer. The gold brick is polished. This one is worth $12,000. It is very heavy. It is weighed again, then stamped with the company's name, weight, fineness, and date. Now it can be shipped away for use or for storage. Sometimes gold is found in areas away from riverbeds. These areas are called lodes. This method of mining is called lode mining or hard rock mining. Lode gold is usually found in quartz, a hard whitish rock which runs in veins through other rock. Some quartz contains gold, but not all of it. When gold is discovered in an area, tests are made to see if there is enough to be worth mining. Small amounts or samplings of ore from different veins are crushed by hand. Then they are panned to separate the gold from other materials. If enough gold is found in these tests, mining will begin. In hard rock mining, tunnels are sometimes dug into the hillside, and the gold ore is brought out in mine cars. The ore is stored in hoppers until it is taken to the mill, where the gold will be separated from the rock and quartz. If the gold ore is not too far from the surface, it can be mined just by digging a big hole or pit into the ground. This is called open pit mining and is a very simple operation. The ore is dug out by pick and shovel, as you see here, or by machine. It is loaded into a truck and hauled to the mill. There are many different sizes and kinds of mills, but the one we are going to see is a small one using a ball-type crusher. The ore is dumped into a hopper at the top of the hill and slides down the chute into this small machine, which is the entire mill operation. Electricity to run the mill is generated by this gasoline engine. Water is added to this revolving drum, and steel balls bounce around with the ore, breaking it into small pieces. New balls are the size of this large one, but they get worn smaller with use. A silver plate is coated with mercury to pick up the gold that will flow over it. The mixture flows out through a screen, and the heavy gold drops to the silver plate, where it is held by the mercury. Heavy particles of mud and gold are concentrated here and then chemically treated to obtain more gold from the ore. The rest of the dirt and gravel flows onto a waste pile. As in other milling processes, these waste materials are called tailings. Several times an hour, the mill is stopped, and the amalgam of mercury and gold is scraped up. The amalgam must be treated to separate the gold from the mercury. We have seen that there are two kinds of gold. Lode gold is deposited in veins of rock, usually quartz, away from river or stream beds. It is mined by the hard rock method, sometimes in tunnels, and sometimes in an open pit. Placer gold is deposited by glacier or water action, usually along river or stream beds. Sometimes placer gold, found along the edges of streams, can be panned out, but usually it is mined by the use of water, either by hydraulic mining or by dredging. The discovery of gold in 1848 caused the first great migration. Gold mining was industry for many years, although it is now of minor importance. However, under government regulation, gold is still being mined by methods similar to those used by the pioneers. who gave to California the name the Golden State.